know you're really excited about being here and seeing me when you got 90-degree weather outside and 2 golf courses and things out here. It's always great to be in Palm Springs and be a part of this. I don't know if you know, anybody know Curtis Rooney? Do you know who that is? Because I rode out on the plane with him. And I've been traveling a lot and doing a lot of things. So I sit down and he sits down beside me and he says, hi. He says, you're Johnny Bench, you're a catcher, yeah. And he said, let's play a game. I said, you know what? I've been traveling all these days. I'd really like just to take a nap and everything else. He said, come on, we'll play a game. I said, really? I'd just like to sleep. He said, I'll make it worth your while. For every wrong answer you give me $5. For every wrong answer I give you, I'll give you 500. I said, oh, come on. He said, oh, no, I'll start. He said, how far is it from the earth to the moon? So I reached in my pocket and I gave him $5. He said, all right, go ahead and ask a question. I said, what goes up the hill with 3 legs and comes down with 4 legs? Well, he reached for his BlackBerry. He got his computer out. He's going on. Now I'm already taking a nap. It's an hour later. He taps me and wakes me up, hands me $500. He said, all right, what goes up the hill with 3 legs and comes down with 4 legs? I reached in my pocket and gave him $5. I'm a small kid. I mean, a small town kid, and thanks Johnson & Johnson. And by the way, thank you for all the powder and everything that you can still send. I have an 18-month-old son. And so, what's so funny? Still got it, you know. Okay. I know. The Lord gave everybody the same number of hormones. If they want to use them to grow hair, that's fine. I grew up in a small town, Binger, Oklahoma. It's a town of 661 people. We have anybody from Oklahoma here? There we go. Boomer Sooner. We were just in Oklahoma City. Did you see the parade last week? Where do you live? Alva or somewhere? It's close, yeah. We had 175,000. We're celebrating our centennial, our 100-year anniversary. And so we had our parade there, and so we were back there. And it's a small town. I was born in Oklahoma City, raised out there in Binger, Oklahoma, sitting there watching TV when I was 3.5 years old. My dad had dreamed of being a Major League Baseball player, and so he kind of wanted all of his sons. We had 3 boys. I was the youngest. And so he kind of wanted his heart that he wanted his son to play professional baseball. But, I'm 3.5 years old. I'm watching TV. And the announcer comes on and says, now batting the next superstar, the switch-hitting center fielder from Oklahoma, Mickey Mantle. And I looked at my dad and I said, you can be from Oklahoma and play in the major leagues? That's what I want to be. And so he said, well, catching was the quickest way to the major leagues and what the major leagues needed. So I became a catcher, basically. He started the Little League team when I was 6 years old, rode around the back of a pickup truck. And a lot of times we would, as you can imagine, on Saturday morning, we would only have 8 kids, and we would go around and knock on doors. And we'd say, can Danny come out and play? We only have 8 kids. No, Danny's doing the yard today. All right, and we go, hey, can Jimmy go out and play? Yeah, but he's got to be back by 2 o'clock. And off we'd go in our little jeans and T-shirts, and we would play, and we would lose. The baseball was first year for baseball. I played against my older brothers, so I wasn't too bad. I was 6 years old, though. We're playing against older 8 and 9-year-old kids. But we would lose, and my dad would say, that's all right. We'll get them tomorrow. Let's go get a cheeseburger. And off we'd go. We'd go get a cheeseburger, and we had the best time. And we would play tin can, and we would play home run derby down at the ballpark. And as we progressed and as the season went along, we played a team that was undefeated. And we beat them. And they were over there crying. Today it's the parents that are over there crying. Because most of you parents actually thought that you could play at one time. Why don't you show your kids your scrapbooks at some point? Just so they know you never could play. But you can always tell them how to play. It's like last night. We see these guys swing and miss at the Red Sox, and of course there's no Red Sox fans in this place. I can't imagine anyway. There's an Indian fan. But you know what? I looked at my dad and I said, Dad, what's wrong with them? And he said, they haven't learned to lose yet, son. Let's go get a cheeseburger. And off we'd go for a cheeseburger. And I used to sit with my dad every Saturday afternoon after we'd played or something, and we'd go down to Helm's Grocery and we'd get a half-gallon Neapolitan ice cream. And we'd bowl it up and everything else, and we'd sit there and watch this game. And my dad, like you guys, he'd sit there and watch some guy swing and said, hell, I could hit that guy. How could he miss that pitch? Why, it was right down the middle. Hell, I'd have creamed that one. And that's the way a lot of you think you can do. It's just a little fastball right down the middle at 94 for 95 miles an hour. And so it's nothing really there to it. All you have to do is tee it up and hit it. But I listened to this and my dad all the time and everything else. And, but it was still my dream. In the second grade, Mrs. Rosser asked everybody what they wanted to be. And Sharon said she wanted to be a school teacher. Ronnie wanted to be an insurance salesman. Sue wanted to be a postmaster. Lyndall wanted to sing country music. And I said, I want to be a Major League Baseball player. And they all laughed. Imagine a Major League Baseball player. In the 8th grade, Mrs. Tate's class, she asked everybody, and Ronnie wanted to be an insurance salesman. Sharon wanted to be a school teacher. Sue wanted to be a postmaster. Lyndall wanted to sing country music. And I wanted to be a Major League Baseball player. And they laughed again. Now, I was pretty good. But in the 8th grade, I was 5'2". Same size hands, which will hold 7 baseballs. Same size feet, size 12. Same size head with hair. So the only people really scouting me at that time was Barnum and Bailey. I wasn't much of a sight to believe. I couldn't imagine them really following me that close, but I grew 9 inches the next couple of years, and all of a sudden our junior year, they didn't laugh so much when they asked everybody. I was in the first free agent draft in 1965. The scout came to the house and offered us $4,000 and $1,000 for 8 semesters of college because I wanted to go to college. Dad said, nope, not enough. So they went down the street. He said, I got to make a phone call. So I actually followed him on bicycle. And he was actually down at the phone booth. And I guess calling back to see, what he's saying at that point, he said, these guys are so easy. He said, I'll have him signed by another half hour and everything else. So he comes back to the house and he said, well, we have a report that you hurt your arm. I said, I'll go out in the yard right now. I'll show you what I can do and everything else. I said, well, we'll give you $6,000, $1,000 a semester for college. And Dad said, it's not enough, son, but it's your life. It's your decision. I said, well, that's what I grew up to be. That's what I'm going to do. So off I went. June 21st, got on my first plane ever out of Oklahoma City. I flew to Tampa, Florida. Got off the plane. It was a double header, and they took me to the ballpark. So I warmed up the pitcher in the bullpen in the 7th inning. Warmed up the pitcher at home plate in the 8th inning and caught the 9th inning of that ball game. 17 years of age. I didn't have, the next day I had to be 25. I'm a professional now. I'm making $500 a month. And so I'm a big-time professional. I'm in Class A Tampa in the Florida State League. And this is what I was going to do the rest of my life. That's what I had planned on being and doing and all the things that went with it. And I didn't have that chance that a lot of kids have of going to college, of making that maturation process, of being in college for 5, 6, 7 years and maturing like your kids have had the opportunity to do. And then that 6 months overseas, just to really find themselves before they really came back here, and they're parking cars out here. I saw a couple of them just actually right now. And Bonefish is a wonderful place that you can make a lot of money and all that stuff that goes along with it. But, it's just amazing. You had to do it. You had to be overnight. So here I'm 17. I didn't have any place to stay. I slept on a couch, actually, for some of the pitchers. Had a hideaway sofa. Had my 6 pair of jeans, my one pair of dress pants, as we call them back in Oklahoma. And I was a major league player, a professional player, I should say. And things happened. I played in Carolina League at Hampton Newport News the next year, and then I was called up to Buffalo, got a foul tip in the 1st inning, broke my thumb, didn't even get to bat. And then I was off to Binger, back home, and then I go back, and here I am the catcher the next year for the Cincinnati Reds, and I make Rookie of the Year. And now, of course, it's 1968. A few years have passed, and they decide this is a great honor for Binger. What we'd like to do is we'd like to honor you with a parade. So can you come back to Binger? And I said, yeah, I'll be back there. It's a great deal and everything else and all the things I need to do. So I got back to town, and everybody's ready. Doc Pfeiffer had his convertible. It was the only convertible in town. So, and they had all the cotton trailers down there, down to Opus Gin and Farmer's Gin, down by Sugar Creek. And everybody's lined up, and they put all these tissues in there, and they painted the stuff and everything else. Home ec girls had done the things and everything else. And so here we go uptown, and there's nobody there. Everybody's in the parade. They are all right back here behind us. 3 drunks come out of the bar. Hey, Johnny, good going, pal. Attaboy. And so I'm doing this thing, everything else. But we made a U-turn and we came back, so we got to wave at everybody. So I think it's kind of important to be famous and everything else. A couple of years later, Sharon called me. Sharon Scott, you remember, she said, well, it's our class reunion, and you were class president. As class president, it's up to you to put this together. And I said, well, as class president, I hereby appoint you and Sue to run this. I think you got to be able to delegate authority. Now, she called back and she said, well, here's what we'd like to do. We'd like everybody to bring $3 in a covered dish. Ooh, Sharon, you think we're going to have too much fun or what? I mean, we got 21 in our class. Who are we going to invite? There's 3 of them's already passed on. I mean, it's only taken a while. No, anybody that went to school with us. I said, how about if anybody that knew us or heard of us or just something that was in there? We're going to have to do it. Lyndall came back and played. Speaking of Lyndall did go to Nashville and play a little country music and everything else. But have you ever been to a class reunion? If you haven't, don't go. There are a lot of old people there.